think Mr. Manikam was very clear about how the industry is large, how it is truly retail in its access to consumers, how it serves purpose in both securing households as well as nation building, how money is invested under very strict guidelines and provisions in safe and secure instruments, as I said, how all of this builds, I think, a certain virtuous cycle through which individuals and families get protection, and at the same time, the country develops and grows its ability to kind of reach the economic growth phase that we all are going through. So that's the past, that's a little bit of facts, that's a little bit of where we've been. But if you really ask me, in the last couple of years, there's been a lot of conversation, a lot of discussion, media reporting on how customers don't necessarily feel that they have got what they thought they were buying. So what are we doing about it? And what are the facts around it also? Because I also think sometimes noise can actually be overpowering of facts. So our attempt here is to bring to you some facts as well. And I think the first thing that we do acknowledge is that the industry is very alive to the issue that if there are customers who are dissatisfied, who are unhappy, we owe them a response, we owe them closure, we have a responsibility to kind of discharge. And if you look at these data numbers that have come from IRDA, this is the website that IRDA time issue, it's a consistent performance. And there is of course repudiation, sometimes because of either policy conditions that are not covering that particular situation, or most important or most often it's because of lack of disclosure, material disclosure by the government himself. But those are, I think, given challenges, those are given ways in which industries operate. And I would actually therefore want and urge you to focus on the fact that there is a 97% settlement rate there as well. This is often not reflected upon. Every time at least I open the newspapers, we do get to hear about one odd complaint where claim wasn't settled. It would be equally meaningful if we were to promote this habit of actually buying insurance, because there are many thousands and lakhs of claims that are getting settled as well. So that's important. What are we going to do about driving growth? Clearly, if you look at the opportunity for India, for life insurance in India, the reason the sector was opened up, that opportunity remains intact. If we talk about a total population of 127 crores, and before this I was in banking, I spent almost 10 years there and now 14 years in insurance. Whenever I used to think about India, I used to sometimes worry, जहाँ भी जाऊँगा लंबा लंबा क्यू लगा होता है, ट्रैफिक ज़्यादा है सड़क पर, हर जगह लोग ही लोग हैं. जब से मैं लाइफ इंश्योरेंस के बिजनेस में आया हूँ, मुझे बहुत खुशी है. हर जगह लोग ही लोग हैं. Because that's fundamentally what we do. We insure lives, and therefore, as the second most populous nation in the world, we obviously have lots of opportunity. If I look at the fact that only about 60 crores, just using a half kind of a number, of Indians can actually be insured for reasons of age, income, or health and all that. Even then, with about a 36 crore policy base right now, which roughly translates to about 30 crore policy holders, individuals, we have nearly a 50% gap from what could be insured. और ये 30 करोड़ भी इंडस्ट्री ने पिछले इतने सालों में कमाए. It's not just 1 year number, it's a number that's accumulated over 40 years, perhaps 20 years, some such number. So there's clearly a lot of headroom for the industry to grow. There's a lot of opportunity. The other thing that's happening, which again is part and parcel of what we do, is that we manage the risk of living too long and dying too early. Both of them are risks, and all of us have that. And Indian life expectancy is actually increasing rapidly. It's bound to happen as we get better facilities, we get more educated, health facilities improve, the progress that science itself, medical science itself is making, where lots of things are now, liver transplants and heart transplants and whatever else, technology backward that has to happen. At the front end, training individual agents, individual employees is a big task. As we said, we are a very large workforce. There are almost 20 lakh agents out there, and there are 3 or 4 lakh employees, so we have to reach all of them with the new message, the new product. So a lot of that effort is currently on. I think we should expect this to take some time. It is not so easy to kind of just convert overnight. So some of that effort has been on, and also the good thing was that in the last quarter, which was the October to December quarter, what the industry started doing was to introduce those products that started to get approved. And hence, not all the products have changed only on 1st January. Many were changed before that also, allowing us some more time to do all these activities. So I think hard to kind of place a definitive number on where it will actually end up. Overall, I can tell you that the industry is trying hard to get back into a growth cycle. May or may not happen by end of this quarter, but certainly longer term, we see that growth trajectory that we spoke about. On renewals, I think there's a similar issue that's happened where there was some degree of surrender rates that kind of spiked last year and year before that. But I think most of that is kind of getting behind us. I think the industry has also got a lot more vigilant about surrenders or persistency management overall. So we should see renewal incomes also eventually grow. So far, that's not been the trend. You're right about that. But I think in some ways, I would say the worst is behind us, and we should go back to it.